All right, so this is going to go on the NIBIN question. And I just watched your NIBIN video again because I had just learned. Well, the other day we had our armorer. He's got a gun and
Thanks, Mom.
he's
Thanks,
got
Mom.
his gun and he's drilling a lockout. And I said, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, we just seized this weapon." I said, "Well, what was the crime?" And the crime was basically he pointed it at somebody. He never shot it. He just pointed it at somebody. So we seized it for evidence. I said, "Under what authority do you have to break this lock open without a warrant?" He goes, "Well, we're going to NIBIN test it. We NIBIN test every gun." And I made a comment again, what authority do you have to NIBIN test a gun just because it's in our possession? And so my argument with upper command was, we shouldn't be doing this just because we seize a weapon. I see this as a search, and I want to know what you guys think, because you're trying to find out if this gun is involved in another crime, which now that's not the original reason of the whole seizure of that weapon.
All right, Mike, I got my opinion on this. You want to take a first stab at it?
Well, I think something you said in there, Sean, was like every time and all the time as kind of a matter of practice. And those words don't usually bode well with anything that we do around here. So what was the original? Was he pointed a gun at somebody but not fired? Correct. So there's no
correct. And it had a gun lock on it, so he never would have been able to.
Well, my first thought is never do we just always do it. As you're seizing it for safekeeping or anything like that. There's no reason to be doing those NIBIN searches on there. And yeah, they are searches because you're getting information out of them. In this circumstance, it is related to a crime, and now, Anthony, you're way more savvy than me on these gun things here, but there might be a little bit of an argument in there that it's related to a crime. It's not just all an automatic type thing, but there was no ballistic component to the crime. So I think that's where I might be a little hung up on. What do you think, AB?
All right, so here's my answer. Yes, the vast majority of courts are going to uphold this. And no, it's not going to be upheld at the U.S. Supreme Court. And the reason I say this is because the vast majority of judges are very anti-gun, and they will bend over backwards to uphold what these cops are doing. However, that's not the answer that really, right? I mean, I just want to throw that out there. And the reason I say this because you will see a case out of Washington State. Now it's a federal case, and they said that NIBIN is a search. They said yes, it is a search, right, Sean? It is a search under Jones, right? Under Jones.
Yep, under U.S. versus Jones.
But they said, right? But they said,
the GPS one.
Right, exactly. That's the GPS case. But they said, hey, even though it's a search, it's still okay. And why did they say it was okay, Sean? You ready for this? Are you sitting down? They said it's proper. It's an inventory.
No.
I swear to God, they said that it is a proper thing to do to make sure you got the right gun to give back to the guy.
I completely disagree with that.
There's the rifling and
you're right.
Like the firing pin is the
there's no rhyme or reason for that. Now look, Sean, if we have maybe if we have a ghost gun, which I hate these bullshit terms, okay? There is no, I've never seen a ghost Casper holding a gun, okay? But if you have
falls right through his hand.
It falls right through his hands, right?
Every time.
But if you have a homemade firearm, which is that's what it is, right? If you have a homemade firearm and there's no serial number on it, at least you have a fighting chance to tell me that this NIBIN is appropriate, because I guess that is the signature to at least identify the gun. I guess maybe, okay, maybe
to make it unique, right, Anthony? To make it unique, yeah.
All right, but even then, I'm just telling you, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here. Now, going back to Sean, going back to what the situation at hand, that NIBIN is a search, and even our very liberal judge in Washington, which is really the only case that's addressed this directly, said as much. You can't get around that, right, Sean?
Right.
But then let's talk at the higher level. Let's talk Supreme Court. So it is a search. Now we need crew. Do we have this person's consent? We absolutely do not, especially drilling out his lock. Do we have a recognized exception? Inventory is not going to work because the gun has a serial number.
Correct.
Right? Now, and do we have a warrant? The answer is no. Now, let me ask you, this is how I'm a very simple person, okay? And this is why I think I work well in the search and seizure space, because I like to break things down to like analogies, okay? Imagine that you have a police department out there that has a lot of hit and runs. Okay, there's a lot of hit and run accidents in this city. Think Chicago. Okay, and you have every time they seize a vehicle, whether it's DUI, parking violations, whatever, they take forensic paint samples from every car and they put it in this paint sample computer database. And every time they get a vehicle and so forth, they paint sample it. Do you think that would be a search? And the answer, of course, is yes.
Yes.
And would it be reasonable? And the answer is no. Why are they building a database about forensic paint samples for every vehicle that they come in contact with? And maybe some people out there don't see this as a good analogy, but in my simple brain, I do. Because in other words, let's take the gun out of it. Whenever you have a gun, you have emotion. You have politicians that just want to do everything they can to basically control guns, okay? But apply that same logic to backpacks, trace analysis, to cars. It doesn't make any sense. It only makes sense to anti-gun people because it's a gun. And the NIBIN is unlawful. It's a search and it's not a reckon's exception. It's no good. But I'm telling you, most judges out there are going to uphold it at the trial level. It's only at the appellate and Supreme Court level where they have multiple people, 3 or 9, right? Where they start thinking to themselves, shit, I know a trial judge is like, like ruling from the heart here, and this feels like he wants to give the cops these tools to find murderers, and I understand that, but how are we going to justify it at our level?
I completely agree, and it just thank you, because that's exactly how I feel, and that's what I said.
Yeah. Well, aren't you a search and seizure instructor? You went through our class?
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. You got. I mean, you went to, in my position, the best search and seizure instructor class in the nation, probably one of the only ones, I guess. But the thing is, like, that's why we ask these questions, because I understand, and other things, I'm not ignorant or unsympathetic to catching murderers. I would like, if we could do it, that, if it was legal, that this NIBIN comes back to a murderer and we now can pin this murder on this guy. I understand that. But I'm also about freedom. And I'm also about, hey, you give an inch here, you're going to take a mile over there. And I don't want, at the end of the day, the rules are the rules.
Well, let's get it right every time. That's why we're doing this.
That's right,
Man,
Sean.
look at that. Nice job, Sean.
Look at Sean. Man, now he's a holster sniffer. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Hey, yeah, there you go. I'll send you that picture. I'll send you that poster, Sean.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah, but Sean, just so you know, you can pack on an airplane. It ain't gonna be that tall.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, mine you're gonna have to fold mine, but his, you don't have to fold his.
We'll leave with that one. Hey, thanks, guys.
All right, see you, Sean.